All right, welcome back to the Unanimous Decision Podcast. I am your host, D Palm. Follow me on Twitter at DPalm66. We are, of course, brought to you by the MTR Network. Follow me on Twitter at the MTR Network. It's the one place you can get everything. You get comics, gaming, movies, TV, politics, and, of course, sports. When you find the podcast, make sure you don't lose the podcast. Make sure you subscribe in the iTunes store. Subscribe on Stitcher. And that makes sure every time I drop a new episode, it's usually on Mondays, but you've seen it. I'll drop these special episodes on you middle of the week. I know there's one coming next week. Spoiler alert. There's a special one coming middle of next week. I'm not telling you when, but it's going to be a heater. It's going to be a great interview I got coming out. Make sure that once you've found the show, you've subscribed to the show, leave a 5-star review. If you leave a 5-star review, your words will get heard in the air. You can also email the show at udpodcast@gmail.com. Before I get to my guest, I do have two new 5-star reviews on the podcast. I want to say thank you to everyone taking the time out to leave the reviews. It really does help the show, man. There's so much you can do to help. People always ask, like, what can I do to help the network, the podcast? How can I, be an involved listener? The number one way you can do it is we all go shopping online. Make sure you're using the Amazon affiliate link at mtrnetwork.net. That way, you do your normal shopping, just do it through our link, and it lets them know that they came through us, gives a little kickback, help us some overhead. The other way to do it, like I always say, 5-star reviews. Leave it on the main feed, leave it on the shows you listen to. Here, Character Corner, Super Tuesday, everything you listen to. Make sure, because it really helps us out. And I got two new ones. The first one is from Mr. Joseph, the greatest. I've been listening to D Palm stuff since he came to MTR Network. And I'm thrilled with his insight that he brings his encyclopedic knowledge of sports to the network. And it's a joy to hear him talk shop with his myriad of guests. Keep up the awesome work and go Blazers. Hey, man, good on you for getting UAB's football team back. That's good. The other one's from Maurice T, becoming one of my favorite sports podcasts. The UD podcast is becoming one of my favorite sports podcasts to listen to. Keep up the good work over there at the MTR Network. Thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks for leaving the reviews. Like I said, 5-star reviews right on the air. All right, and today I got with me Jeff from Bleacher Report. He is the Social Moments editor. So every time that you see those ridiculous memes making fun of your team, get mad. There's not just an amorphous Bleacher Report machine. This is the man to be mad at. Follow him on Twitter at JeffJ What up, man?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Man, really good. I'm glad to finally have you on, man. But first and foremost, I got to ask, what is it like being that guy that everyone on some level, someone somewhere has a problem with everything that you do for work?
It sounds like being black in America to me. It's experience with it, but yeah, it's cool. We're a team. We're a great team. We all put the stuff together. The funny thing that Jay saying that, I had told my team when I first got hired, I said, you know what? We don't have a history of putting out like racist stuff or something that could be took another way. But I said, if you think of it, that can't go down now. Because guess who's going to be the first person that gets hit up when y'all put out something crazy? It's going to be me. 100%. So we got to check all of that. But seriously, I love the team. One thing I love is that we have fans of all teams there. So anything that you see put out, that it's equal opportunity.
And that's the best part about it, because I'm a Falcons fan, and I know that when our time comes, I'm gonna catch it. Like I've accepted that.
Right. You just gotta accept it. That's why you go hard. You gotta go hard, because when that day comes when your team's out the playoffs, you just gotta swing. You go hard, man.
You got to ride it out, man. So give us a quick synopsis on how you got to Bleacher Report, because one thing I've always liked about you is, man, you're always about your grind. You're always about doing the next thing. Can you give us like a quick rundown of your journey to Bleacher Report?
Yeah, sure. So I was working in corporate America doing technology stuff for like years, but I always wrote on the side and did a whole lot of stuff with media. And I started getting more and more opportunities, guest appearances, started getting stuff with TV, where I took a step back and said, this can be more than a hobby. I could actually do this full time. So about 3 years ago, I started working towards getting out of corporate America and doing it full time. And I was able to get the opportunity around April of last year, and I took it.
Well, man, it's been great to watch, man. Just 'cause it's nice to see someone who works so hard get rewarded so well. But you're here today. We're going to talk about some sports, talk about some things. I got to ask, did you stay up and watch the entire, I guess it felt like 12 hours, national title game in college football this past Monday?
And I stayed up for 57 minutes of that 60-minute game. I woke up, knocked out 24-21. I think Alabama was up 24-21, right?
Right.
Or Clemson was up 24-21. And then Alabama scored, and then Clemson scored again. So when I woke up and saw that Clemson was on the field, I was like, oh, they held on. And then wound 5 minutes, and I saw the game-winning drive, and I was like, oh, this is crazy. She didn't know that there was another score before that Alabama actually went up, and then they had the last. But that was incredible, man. It was. I think USC Texas is still the number one. For me in my time, that they got to work, and maybe we're just bitching, or I'm just bitching because I'm on East Coast time. But we got to work on the time that they start this game, man. Yeah, because there's no reason why it's to 1 o'clock.
It's not even just the time to start the game. I think it's something that's been bandied about all season is the length of these games. It's just kind of gotten out of hand. And I couldn't agree more with you, but if it was going to be a game that made me tired for work the next day, this was the game to do it, man. Like, you're right. I think that USC Texas remains the gold standard for college football deciding games. But if you want to start having a conversation, this game might be the one to do it in. You saw just an Alabama team that kept this game that close, that was in this game so late, despite the actions of their freshman quarterback. It was a Clemson team that just kept leaning on that Bama defense until it just got tired. And to Deshaun Watson, once again, second year in a row, playing outside of his mind. And it's so amazing, and there's so much drama and intrigue. One of the things I saw that really broke my heart was Bo Scarborough breaking his leg, and partially because I wanted to see both these teams kind of go out of their strengths, but also because even though he did have those 2 big runs early, the rest of his runs had been very much maybe 2, maybe 3 yards, like very much in the muck. So I wanted to see if he was going to even break another one against this Clemson defense that was improving. What did you see? What did you take away from this game as far as the statement on, is this the death of Bama? Is this the end of SEC dominance? Or is this just 2 great teams who kind of deserve a rubber match now after going 1-1 the last 2 years?
Yeah, I don't think that I can call for Alabama's death right now. They've been the gold standard for years. As long as I've been watching football, the Spurs of college football. And I think it was just 2 great teams. Clemson just beat them. They were just better that day. I'd love to see a third game between them, a rubber match. And what's good about college football is a lot of those are still going to be on the team. So it's not like basketball where you get 2 completely different teams.
Right.
The people the draft, so the third game out of it. But I just think that those top teams in football, when they're all left to the playoff, they're good teams, and we wanted to see Clemson, Alabama. And if they're that good next year, I'd love to see it again.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things about this Bama team was that for the first time, one of the hallmarks of Bama's defense over the last few years has been the dominant defensive backfield. This year, they were defined mostly by their pass rush, which made the defensive backs look better than they were. But it looked like as the game went on, that pass rush got tired, and the DBs couldn't hold up. And this is interesting to see. It's the first year back with Pruitt. It's a lot. They'll admit they were weak in the secondary this year. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how Bama bounces back. I pray for these poor kids going through summer workouts with that coach after that loss. And I pray for FSU, who's going to catch Bama. They've got 6 months to play to game plan for FSU.
Yeah, and Nick Saban, he's damn near running a factory down there. So who knows?
Couldn't be more right. And speaking of football factories, we're going to talk about Dabo Swinney and what he's done at Clemson. It's on its face, in by any estimation, a very good job coaching. But I think that he came out in the post-game press conference and couldn't let me enjoy Clemson's win for more than 5 minutes. His quote was, when asked about actually paying players, he said, "I'll go do something else because there's enough entitlement in the world as it is." This is talking about paying players. It's like if anyone has entitlement in this, it's Dabo Swinney. He's living and working on literally a literal former plantation, making millions of dollars off the sweat and head injuries of young kids, mostly black kids. When he was asked about Black Lives Matter in September, he said some of these people need to move to another country. When asked about his players protesting the anthem, he said it's so easy to say we have a race problem, but we've got a sin problem. It is the level of cognitive dissonance to cash the $800,000 bonus check for a national title and scoff at the idea of those players getting paid. It reminds you again that these coaches necessarily aren't the teachers that we mythologize coaches to be. I'm sure we've all had that coach who made us believe in coaches, who taught us to be more than ourselves. These people aren't necessarily those people. And it's important to remember that.
Yeah, and another thing is that these guys are old school, set in their ways, very much back in my day we did this, we did that. Why does a kid need to get paid if they're going to get an education and they're going to go to the NFL? Nobody wants to see that until either these kids stand up and don't play or something else happens. And it's just funny who are ADs at schools and work in administrations who give the nuance behind paying players, where if you pay somebody, then you got to pay everybody. And some programs aren't doing it as well as others. Are you going to pay the kid in lacrosse the same amount you're going to pay Bo Scarborough? Things like that. And I think that's something that should be brought into the conversation so that you can get an answer. But to just brush it off as if it's nonsensical to think that, I think that's the level of disregard that gets me upset. For the amount of money that these kids make these universities in college football, basketball, and even some of these other sports, depending on what's big in your area, for them to act as if paying them means nothing or that it's beneath them, that's what really burns me.
Yeah, and it's even interesting framed in the economics of the discussion you're talking about. The Washington Post showed in the 2015 series in the books of athletic departments that the major issue plaguing programs, large and small, is not lack of funding, it's overspending. The way they can justify saying we can't pay them is because they invent things to buy. There's a water slide outside of Clemson's training room right now. Why the fuck is there a water slide? Who knows? Because they need to spend the money to justify not paying the players. And first and foremost, like that, if you want to really have that conversation, it's about you stop. The NCAA advocates cooking your books so that it looks like you're breaking even or losing money. To that point, there is a super PAC being started by college athletic directors called Lead One. It will now hold its annual September meeting in the presidential ballroom of the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. Now, while I have intimated multiple times on this podcast that the NCAA's primary course of action and primary reason for existence is to keep the kids from getting paid, that's the explicit reason that this super PAC is being invented, to lobby Congress to keep them from paying the players. Now, if the irony isn't lost on you that these people are paying for the presidential ballroom in Trump Tower to schmooze with congressmen at a black tie event with hundreds of dollars worth of plates that's being paid for literally by the blood, sweat, tears, and head trauma of young black men.
When you put it like that, it sounds if you put it like that, it sounds pretty bad, doesn't it? Yeah, man. Hey, you know what's crazy? We need a super PAC for something. We need trash shows that shouldn't be on the air, something to support good entertainment. We need to make a super PAC, because super PAC is the way to go, man. You got to get them lobbying dollars in. Like, these dudes really created a super PAC to keep people paid. Like, they
asked McMillan, who's the head of it, the spokesman, what the largest challenges in 2017 will be. He's answered it would be convincing the public of how good the college athlete really has today, as well as combating legislation with aims of paying these young men and women as if they're employees. He literally said the stated goal of this PAC is to keep them broke.
Right. Yeah, what's crazy is one of my boys. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Breezy on Twitter. He is heavily involved. You know what I mean, and knows a lot about that stuff. One suggestion that he had for the kids, which I think it's a start, is to let these kids make money off themselves. If they're doing autograph signings, if they're doing pictures, if they're doing stuff where they can get come see Bo Scarborough and Lotus.
Yeah, but for me, and I see what you're saying there, and I see that there's a marketing opportunity. For me, that's letting a certain class of player lose the forest for the trees. And
I get it.
Particularly when you're talking about, like, it's like the players' union that was attended last year. The issue isn't just paying players. Like, would I like them to get a check? Yeah. Would I also like them to get extended, have scholarship protections? Would I also like them to have access to academics beyond what's limited to the practices and schedules? Yes. Would I like to see healthcare continue beyond your senior, but beyond 2 years after your senior year? Of course I would. There are a lot of things that people want to tie just saying cut these kids a check that actually says, oh no, it's about the physical and mental well-being of these players. Because if they're generating money for you and your school at whatever level, or guess what? You say the fencing team doesn't generate money, it generates alumni giving. You cannot quantify the alumni who said, hey, our fencing team's really good. I remember fencing when I was at that school, and gives money. You can't quantify that, and that's part of the reason that they try to hide it. All I'm saying is each athlete is acting as an actor of the school. That means that if something happens to them while they're acting in your service, you have a duty of care to those players that extends beyond the 4 years that they put in at your institution.
I agree 100%, especially for these bigger schools. Like, come on, man, y'all got money. Like, let's not mince words.
Yeah.
We've been talking about tuition, fam. Like, we're not even talking about the tuition you get from these regular students.
Right.
Like, you making money. You got these ads on prime time during these games. You're getting these money. You're getting these bowl game bonuses. You could cut something. And where they messed up? It's not like, and mind you, you play football in college. You are more closer to this than me. For me, it's more so I'm coming from it from a purely monetary standpoint. Right. Everything else that you factored in, I it's just all I could do is tip my cap. I'm not even wearing one, but I still tipped it because I'm like, yo, that makes a whole lot of sense. But where I think they messed up, if they were just giving these kids a stipend, even to begin, people wouldn't complain as much.
No, it's amazing because you look at how people say that, players have it better. The players' agreement with the schools has not changed since 1960s. Right. And I tell you what, the atmosphere around these games sure as hell has, because the reason Notre Dame was good for so long is they were the only team with a national television deal. How much did the SEC Network get paid? SEC get paid by ESPN this year? That's what I thought. And it's not just me saying this. Bo Jackson, one of the two greatest living college football players of all time, depending on where you stand about Herschel Walker, I think this podcast should know where I stand. So number 2, Bo Jackson, has a confession to make. He says that if he went back to his playing days, knowing what we know now about CTE, he would not play football. I'm going to just quote this here to USA Today Sports. If I knew back then what I know now, I never would have played football. Never. I wish I'd known about all those head injuries, but no one knew that. And the people that did know that, they wouldn't tell anybody. This game has gotten so violent, so rough. We're so much more educated on the CTE stuff. There's no way I would ever allow my kids to play football today. Even though I love the sport, I'd smack them in the mouth that say they want to play football. I'd say play basketball, baseball, soccer, golf, anything but football. And it's interesting because this is one of the ones where I think when we get the autopsies of the players who've unfortunately been forced to take their lives because of the lack of treatment afforded them, it's easy for people to write it off as something else, I think. Like Junior Seau, I happened to run into him in Atlanta out and about probably 6 months before he killed himself. Guy was normal. He was clean. We had a great time. This is not something people are so easy to say, oh, something else is the reason there. Something else is the reason there. Players I played against in college, players who were on my team in college. It's easy to write off something else. When a living player, when a living legend comes out and says, what we did was wrong, we shouldn't have, this sport is violent and it's like, I think our first episode of this podcast was entitled Safer Cigarettes. There's just no such thing. We can lie to ourselves. We can write light on the package, but it's still a cigarette. It's still designed to kill you, and that's what football is. And it's one of those things where do I regret playing football? And I've said it before. I'll say it again. Absolutely not. It afforded me opportunity and friendships and bonds and learned. But I do think that there are other ways to get those things besides football.
Yeah. It kind of, I was like, damn, when I saw Bo, because you got to understand, this dude is still the super athlete to me.
Oh, no, I'm a stand for Herschel, but I mean, Bo's Bo.
I'm talking about in terms of physical ability where, and you know, it's tall, it may be a tall tale, I don't know. He claims he never lifted weights and all he did was calisthenics, and he was naturally like that. He was a super soldier.
Right.
Like some stuff that I saw, and I'm like, damn, how much CTE did you deal out as opposed to he didn't get touched at some point. And the fact that this man popped in his hip back in or whatever that was, this dude is the closest thing we got to an X-Men for real in real life, or a mutant, whatever have you. And for him to say that, I think it's just a realization of what we know now. The same way how many people would actually smoke now cigarettes.
Right. Like in the 50s, it was advertised as healthy living.
Yo. People drinking while pregnant, people smoking while pregnant. Let me tell you, if it's one thing I'm so glad New York did was ban smoking in bars. Yo, you don't understand.
I was in college there, dude. I went to Columbia. Yes. I know.
It was around your time that happened.
It happened between my freshman and sophomore years, and it was like my world changed.
Yo, it's so crazy too, where the only place where it can go down here is like cigar bars and shit.
Yeah.
But yo, like I'll go somewhere else and they'll be smoking in the bar. Where was I? I was in New Orleans.
Yeah. New Orleans is a lawless hellhole.
Yo, I was appalled. Like I'm bougie now. I'm mad bougie, but it just increases your quality of living.
You're right.
It just does. Like if you really want to smoke, you do it like every other fiend. You go outside, and whether it's cold or hot, you go outside and smoke. Like I just feel like with the knowledge, 100 years from now, they're probably gonna be like, yo, you believe these motherfuckers were using Bluetooth and called that advanced technology? Assholes. Like it's crazy. Like, and I'm not a truth or anything like that, but I'm just saying, or microwaves 30 years from now, people are going to be like, y'all were wildin'.
Yo, how about this? You used to sit with your laptops on your lap?
Oh,
that's horrible for you.
I had to stop that because when I heard the results, and the thing is, you think about it, in this era, we get practical information and people still say fuck it. Like it's the laptop gets hot. You put it on your lap for a man. You put it on a lap. Your fucking sperm are going to die. Like, cause they're going to get boiled. Don't put it on your lap or put something that's a buffer. Fuck that. I don't believe in science. And then, all of that, when that information is privy to you, that's why you get the usual stories about, is football going to be around in 20, 30 years? Is it going to be what we know as football, what we watch as football right now? Is that going to be the case? And you never, we don't know. But I think the more information you get, the safer you can make it. Even with football, all these rules that they've instituted about defenseless receivers. When we were in school, there was no defenseless receiver. Defenseless receiver was if you were on the sideline, not in the game.
The defenseless receiver wasn't in the game.
Right.
It was somebody else. Like, that other, he's the defensive receiver on the field, man.
Right. Why are you popping somebody on the sideline? But now, but you know what? It changed the parameter of the game, so you're inflicting the pain in targeted areas that have nowhere to do with the head, that have nowhere to do, it's basically your torso and your core that should be targeted at all times, which can absorb the brunt of that and keep you around longer. So, I get it with Bo, man. Like, I don't know if I'm fortunate enough to have kids, if I have a son, would I want him to play football? From a practical point of view, I wouldn't, because you could be fucking, what's my man's name? Bartolo Colon, almost 50 and still collecting. And just to do, and you know what I mean? Like you can make millions off of a less contact, a less strenuous game and get up and do all of that. So I don't know, but I'm not surprised that he would say that.
I just think it's good because I think it's going to be good to have someone who we all revere to really further at least the conversation.
Right.
Enough people have said things like, "Oh, you know that's you're trying to kill football." No, we're not. None of us are anti-football, but we just think that like you have to acknowledge that this is not like okay. And I think that it's hard for a lot of people to even get there. All right, man, I gotta ask, like, as people may or may not know from listening to the podcast, you are from New York. You're a New Yorker.
Yes, sir.
And I gotta ask, this week, your boy Derrick Rose, and you know what? We're gonna just discuss this about Derrick Rose. We're gonna throw the caveat out there. He's a trash person. I've covered this podcast, the accusations against him, whatever the outcome was, whatever that bullshit trial was, where the judge said the reprehensible shit at the end and all the jurors taking pictures with him. We all know how disgusting it was. We're talking about Derrick Rose, the basketball player right now, okay? We're just getting in front of that, okay?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right, cool. The basketball player, what the fuck? You can't just not show up to work.
Listen, man. There have been many times, and I know we're going to talk about it, but when the whole, and just to bring it together, when the whole Odell shit happened with the wide receivers all going to Miami, I was calling people broke all week, and I called them the hypocrisy of talking about this when you're tweeting and you're using social media on company Wi-Fi, on company time, and you're talking about this. That's first. Secondly, your life might not have been popping like that if you've never took a Sunday trip to whatever the closest city is that's away from your city and had to be back Monday morning for work, or took off for the Friday afternoon, or said, yo, I'm going to be late on Monday. This is what normal people with jobs do. For us in the Northeast, it's way easier to consider that because we could drive to DC. We're within a 6, 7, 8 state radius of major cities where we could go drive and come right back, or take a train. But on the flip side with Derrick Rose, yo, this is a job. And this is the one time where I say, yo, you got to treat this like how we all normal people treat our job. Right. If I no-showed my job, people
wouldn't have a job anymore.
I wouldn't have a job. And I'm going to tell you how real it was. Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski, said, I don't know where Rose was. We all thought he was dead. I said, oh, something happened. I said, either he's in hiding, or this man is kidnapped, or he's dead. Because Woj could tell you where I'm at right now. And he's the only person that knows where I am right now. You and a few people. Woj could break on Twitter right now where I am. But here's the thing. If we were like in 1950, that's mad ages, but whatever. If we were in 1950, 1960 even maybe 1970, I would say, okay, he just took off, couldn't get in contact with people. But in 2017, in the age of GroupMe, WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, agents, texting, Wi-Fi.
Reggie.
Right. All of this. You're telling me 30 seconds you couldn't get in contact with someone who could say Derrick's alive, he had to go home, it's a family emergency. That was how long did that take to say that? 3, 4, 5 seconds?
Not even.
And what's crazy is a lot of the media were saying it, and it was absolutely correct. When players say personal reasons, the media does not pry. But the minute you go AWOL, it's all our business now.
Because you got to say something. You can't pretend that it's not happening.
Right. And that was my biggest thing. And the reason why I looked at it with a shifty eye, you came back the next morning to go to practice. So he was at the shoot around, then he took off, then he came back the next morning and made practice. Something that real where I no call, no show work, fam, I'm not coming back the next day. Because it's got to be that real, right?
It has to be. It's the only reply.
Right. And everybody handles stuff different. I'll put there. Everybody does.
Yep.
But I'm sorry. as rich as I might be, if I'm Derrick Rose, and yeah, it ain't a thing to hop on a plane, get my man's jet, and go and come back or whatever. Like, Dolan has money for 8 generations. You think he wouldn't have lent you his plane to go and come back? Like, if you really needed to do that. But the fact that you came back the next morning, I don't know, man.
It's all bad. You're right. You're 100%.
You can't do that. Like, no responsible, and this goes back to your disclaimer, right? And no matter what benefits of the doubt, he's shown that he is not the best with judgment in anything. No known person, and I mean, it's been out there. I've heard people say that he's legit dumb, but no rational person would do that. Where and not to mention, your teammates did not know if you were alive or not.
Right.
Like, Brandon Jennings was like, yo, I hope he's okay. How are you supposed to play a game? Like, you have when you have a job, you have a responsibility. They're paying you. They're help funding your life, whether you like it or not. And you have that elevated responsibility. And you know how I know? Because when I've had deaths in the family, I've called my jobs and told them I'm not coming in. I can't make it. I don't know, whatever it is that you have to do. I've given passwords over the phone to get into my laptop so they could get some work that they needed or whatever have you. But they were the first people I called, or the second, when it's happened to me. So you have that responsibility to contact your job, let them know that you're okay, let them know that you got something to handle, and move on. You can't just no call, no show, especially when you're a public figure where people are actively going to look for you. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like us, D-Palm, where I'd be like, yo, why didn't you just check Twitter?
Yeah.
Why check Twitter? Yeah, you would have seen me. But come on, man. No.
Look, you said it all. Nothing I can say. Nothing I can say. All I do is move on to this DeMarcus Cousins alleged extension. And apparently it's on the table. I don't know if it's out there. I don't know if it's signed. After all we know about DeMarcus Cousins and about Sacramento and about the things that have happened there, my answer is always, people say, why would you stay? I'm like, they can give him more money than everybody else, right? Like, no matter what the fucked up situation it's been there, a situation you don't necessarily trust it, but it's the crazy and it's worth more money. Like, who's to say they don't get one good free agent? Because the hardest thing they'll say in NBA is the one superstar. Right. That's the hardest thing to do is get one. So from Sacramento's point of view, we got one, we got to hold him. From DeMarcus's point of view, even seeing that commitment from them has got to mean something.
Yeah, I equate it to rap and music in general. You have people who are in music to make music and be artists, and you have people who are in music to make money. I think it's the same way with sports figures and people who play sports. Some of these dudes, to use a Trump codification word, they come from the inner cities, they come from poverty or whatever, or they come from a not so good situation, let me say, and they hit it big and they never want to go back, and they want to
back all-stars.
You're right, and they want to make as much money as they can while they can make it. And it ain't about winning as much. A lot of these dudes, they probably figure, I'm going to get all the money that I can. And then when I'm that 32, 33 range where I still have one last hurrah, I'll go link up with a super team like KG, Ray, and Paul Pierce. I'll go link up something like that and go get the ring. Or I'll see if I can bring people, no shots against the city of Sacramento and that team, but who's going to Sacramento to go play some basketball, dog?
Yeah, you're right, but I think it's even different than like the artist comparison, because with this, especially, like, it's like if you've been good at math all your life, you don't necessarily love math, but you're good at it, so your job pays you to be good at math. At a certain point, like, I think we've all can relate to this. It is a job.
Right.
It is the job. Like, and while, like, you're right, there are a lot of players who have that crazy psychotic competitive edge who say, I'm here for the job, but at the same time, no one's doing it for the love. No one's saying no, don't pay me. And secondly, wouldn't you also argue that a player of DeMarcus Cousins' talent and stature owes it to the league, owes it to his fellow union members to make sure that he maximizes his talents and affordability so that he can rise the floor for everyone. And that's really what, when I talk about college or NBA basketball pay scales, the cap is the cap. It's artificially low, and the guys who deserve the cap are going to get the cap. What I'm here for is the floor. That median guy, that first year guy. Since the rookie deals have been restructured and they limit how quickly you can become a free agent, it's more important that first deal be in the side of the player.
Yeah, when you put it to you like that, I think they definitely have an obligation to themselves to make as much money as they can. I agree with also the obligation to their fellow players, but at some point, it really does depend on their competitive nature too, man. If they want to win a ring, want to play with the best, then yeah, I would take shoot.
LeBron and boys did it in Miami. They took heavy cuts.
Right, and I would have took a heavy pay cut to get out of my job, and I do owe it to myself to try to make, and we all do in this life, owe it to ourselves to make as much as we can. But when you see the light at the end of the tunnel, sometimes you run, sometimes you drive, sometimes you fly, but you're gonna get there. And if it means taking a lesser efficient way of travel, as long as you get to that light, you're gonna get there. So the money isn't always everything, but
I like how you count everything.
I mean, you have to weigh the pros and cons. Maybe he loves the city. Maybe he loves the team. Maybe he's like, yo, I could probably get some second, third tier people to come to Sacramento and we'll be Bibby and Chris Webber again and it'll be lit and XYZ. Maybe he really thinks that, or he's driving up his price so that he can dip. Who knows? But you think about it. All that money Anthony Davis is making, you think he's having fun? Like, you think that as much, that's why I say even there's so many professions now where you could be making a whole lot of money and be miserable.
Right.
And be absolutely miserable. Yeah, you're going to cash that check. You're going to cash that check, but you're miserable. You're miserable. And that's really, even if you're doing something that you love, you can still be miserable. That's not a way to live. So you got to factor it in. And at the end of the day, if he takes that money and he stays, good for that man. He made the decision for himself. I can't say what his situation is and what he should do. He should do what he wants to do.
Couldn't agree more, man. Let's talk about the NFL before we get to the playoff talk. The Chargers moved. Whatever. We'll see. I don't think it's going to work. We'll see. It didn't work for these first cats. The one thing they have on their side, is that they're playing in the StubHub Arena, which only holds 30,000 people, which would put them, just for keeping track at home, 108th largest Division I-A football stadium in this country. So I think this is actually an opportunity for them to turn Chargers football into like a boutique ticket. Like it becomes boutique football, which is pretty LA of them, make it kind of exclusive. I think that might actually work. When they eventually do move into the Rams' home, they're just going to be tenants. They're going to be the Clippers. LA, man, they like a winner. They don't just like things. They like winners. Do you think either one of these franchises, not necessarily known for winning, can make a move here to be LA's team?
Well, talking to some people from Cali, it seems like the Rams are the team because they already have.
I saw the numbers of attendance at the end of that shit, man. Mm-mm.
Well, you also got to remember, LA has to ease into this.
That's true.
Because LA isn't all the way Miami when it comes to their fandom. They're like Miami adjacent in the sense that if you're not already established, if something already is popping on Sunday, we going to Hollywood. We're not going to wherever the Rose Bowl or wherever it is that they're playing. But the Rams themselves, they have skin in LA. They were there prior for almost like 50 years or something wild like that. Between St. Louis and LA, they've been back and forth, but they've been there for a while. And LA Californians can get territorial when it comes to your hoods, where this is a team from San Diego that's moving up 2.5 hours to claim LA. So you're gonna still get a lot of the Chargers fans who are gonna take that drive up the 405 and go to these games. You're still gonna get that. But actual LA people who say, there's people in LA who are Chargers fans.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. There are LA Chargers fans. There have been LA Chargers fans, so they're going to be good. But me, and that's another reason why people were saying that they don't know why practically they would go back to LA. I mean, other than the money and shit. But, I feel like at this point, if you've been in LA for a while, you have a team. Like some of my mans are Dolphins fans, Raiders fans, Patriots fans, Cowboys fans. Football is wild random. Like you could be in Utah and be a Giants fan. It's
but that's part of the question I have, man. So the way things especially in LA, get built is that what happens is a kid gets born and they live there long enough to where they don't know a time in their lives when the Rams weren't the team in LA. And that's how you build lasting fan bases. Could either one of these franchises survive fiscally and attention-wise in that market long enough for these fans to be birthed into them? It's going to be a generational thing if they can keep their roots. My question being, do you think there's enough of a footprint football-wise for both of these teams?
Oh, yeah, because the NFL is king. The NFL is
that's a good point.
Eventually those kids are going to grow up. And a lot of it is there's people in LA who probably have a team and are going to adopt the Rams or probably the Chargers as their LA team. Like this is a team that I've been rooting for, but since my hometown has a team, if my A team ain't in it, then I'm gonna mess with my hometown team.
I really hope so, just for the NFL sake. But I think LA loves a winner, and we'll see what happens with that. Hey,
they have to win.
They do have to win. That's the number one thing. You got to win.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, they ain't getting the eyeballs. All right, I gotta ask. I for one, don't think the damn boat had damn thing to do with anything. I think that wearing Timbs in the boat was ridiculous, but y'all in New York do what you do. Like y'all, man, I got to college there. Like, yo, everybody's got Timbs. I had these nice charcoal gray joints. Yeah. Really nice Timbs. But as soon as I moved back home, I was like, yo, I'm never wearing these again.
You had no reason. You went back to Atlanta.
I can't never wear these Timbs again.
No reason, unless that one time every 18 months where it snows.
Right.
You see all the transplants. That's how you know all the people who came from New York. And
everyone walking securely from north of the Mason-Dixon. I see you, Brooklyn. All right. Everyone walking real easy. Okay.
It's either you see Timbs or you see people who could actually drive in the snow.
Nah, see, they can't drive because we don't even clear it down here. I know what you're saying. I lived in Philly, man. I used to drive around in Philly, and it's one thing to drive in the snow when the streets have been salted. Another thing when the shit ain't been done.
Oh, they don't. They just leave it.
They don't have money. So, okay, we're doing this for 2 seconds. It would be fiscally irresponsible, like you said, for the government to take extra funds out your pocket for something that, like you said, happens once every 18 months.
Okay. I get, and Atlanta got hills and shit too.
Exactly, that's the balance of it. It's like, do we take extra taxes, or do we just say we're gonna catch these memes once every 2 years?
So the Carmageddon, was that y'all?
That was us. It's all us. I don't know what to say, man.
Carmageddon,
because it's all those hills and all this road and no plows and no sand, no salt. It just happens.
I ain't mad at that.
Hey man, but really though, Odell Beckham, I don't give a fuck about no boat trip. But I do care about his reaction to some of these losses, man. He kind of does take a little bit extra. I honestly think in the Green Bay game, everybody on the Giants side was pressing. It wasn't just the receivers. Eli was floating some balls he shouldn't have floated. Do you think that, and you've heard some of the coaches now say it's supposed to be addressed. It wouldn't be addressed during the season because there's some bitches, but whatever. Do you think that it's actually like a problem? Don't use the word distraction because they're all grown-ass men at their jobs. Nothing's really a distraction. But do you think his behavior is problematic just from the way that the team's perceived?
I think it's problematic for quote-unquote media perception's sake because, it's very respectable when it comes to the vibe that media gives. You shouldn't go to Miami because it looks bad. Right. You should be a professional. Who do you think you are going down south on a private jet? You should be reading your playbook or whatever it is you guys do. From that perception, I think those actions, if you care about that, what I would say is, you're a competitor, I'm a competitor. We know people who react the way Odell reacts to losses, banging your head, banging the ball, doing stuff like that. And it's all a matter of perception, right? Because if you're a winner, you're fiery. You're a competitor. Like Tom Tom Brady can curse me out, but that's just his spirit. But
Right.
I'm breaking walls and stuff like that, then you do go a little too far. What I will say is this. One thing that I try to do and I've thought about more and more is just being able not to be emotionless, but just trying to be able to control your emotions so that you can be more productive. I think what would happen, what's best for him is, and you know, stigmas aside, maybe get with a psychologist or a therapist and see how he could change. Like the same way how after that Josh Norman stuff, he fell back and cooked them the last game of the season and wasn't wilding out, and it was Josh Norman who was wilding out, and he kind of contained that and let it flow into his game. You know, not to get all Marion Hill from In the House on you, but
that's a deep cut.
Right. Not to get all feng shui or whatever, but if he can learn how to channel that, just channel it better. Because, you know, I've seen people punch holes and stuff, whatever. But when you're banging your head, like that's when somebody's got to say, all right, yo, I get it. You get it out. We've all punched a wall and cursed ourselves afterwards, but your body is your job. So maybe you just need to find somebody who can help you channel the anger, still be angry, but express it differently and let it flow differently. And that's something that I've always wanted to do, because I feel like when you're frustrated, when you're down, when you're dejected, you know, life is a bell curve, right? Life is a statistical bell curve, and we have our ups and downs, and we may get frustrated in our relationships with significant others or with family or with friends. What's the best way to express that where it's productive and you're not inflicting self-pain? So that to me would be what is best for him. Otherwise, do you get better and come back stronger next season?
You're 100% right, man. I hope he does. I'm cheering for the kid, man. I hope that the noise doesn't get too loud for him there, because I know how you guys act in New York sometimes. Not you guys per se, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, the media. Yeah,
the media does what it does up there, and it's never been always fair to, particularly black players. And I hope it's good to Odell, man. I hope it all dies down. I think Dallas losing today might have helped a little bit. Dull that hurt. Let's talk about the divisional round, because the first round of games, wildcard games, let's just be honest, they're all blowouts. A lot of them are trash. This week's games, Saturday looks like more of the same, because, and I know you're going to look at it differently than I do. For a lot of people, like, oh, the Falcons ran up on the Seahawks. For me, it was a nail biter.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I've got history with this team, I know what they do. That late pass that almost got caught over the middle, my heart stopped a little bit. True story. I was in Nashville yesterday, watching the game with a couple of my friends in town, and I'm obnoxious, and I was going to the NXT show afterwards, so I had my title belt with me. And as soon as the Falcons went up, I felt comfortable enough. That last touchdown, I threw my hands up, I threw the title belt up, I was talking all this shit. And then Devin Hester did his thing, and then they scored real quick, and I got real nervous. Because you just figure the Falcons were going to Falcon, but they didn't, man. And Matt Ryan looks like the MVP, and Julio's Julioing on people. And you got Michael Bennett cussing out reporters afterwards. I still don't feel comfortable. Tell me why I should feel better about this Falcons win.
Your offense is the best complete offense left in the playoffs currently. Right. And will be regardless of what happens with Pitt and Kansas City.
Right.
They did me very well in fantasy.
Well, glad to help.
I appreciate Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman. Those are
the two-headed monster, right?
Listen, there's few people who I said I would, like, if I meet them in person, I'm buying them a drink because of fantasy. LaDainian Tomlinson, I'm buying him a bottle. Because in 06, he single-handedly carried me to second place. I'm talking about games I had no business winning. It was him and a bunch of third-string players because everybody got hurt. So when I see him, he's getting a bottle from me. I'll go to a liquor store and hand him the bottle like, yo, fam, 2006, you were the man. You won me some money that I just wanted to give back. But Devonta Freeman, I definitely got drinks for them. If I ever see them in a club or whatever in ATL, I don't care if they have their own bottles. I'm symbolically sending them a drink of whatever. Man, them and Matt Ryan's always been good. Now he won that
protection, yo.
He won that playoff game, so now he can chill a little bit.
It's his second one. Oh, relax.
What? When was the first one?
He beat Seattle 2 years ago. Remember, we were in the Seattle game against San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
I think he's got 3 now. Hold on, no, come on. Can't you just?
No, I'm not shitting on him.
I know.
I thought that was the narrative that they said he never won. I thought that's what I heard, but I was
No. He's got some under his belt, but this is the first. This is by far the biggest win. That Seattle one was a 2-point nail biter. This is the one where I feel like we grew up as a team, man, and I feel nervous just because I've been hurt so many times by this team. I feel nervous letting my guard down, but at the same time, like, my big thing going into this game was I don't think Seattle can score as many points as Atlanta can, and I think I was proven right. Other game Saturday, the Patriots played the Texans. Dude, the Pats look sloppy.
Yeah, man. Was it Pats being sloppy or Texans defense that good?
It could be both, because you know what? Everyone wants to talk all that shit about Clowney. Clowney's a beast. He's only 23. He's playing out of position, and he's a beast. So maybe it was a little bit of both. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they match up going against this winner of Pittsburgh, Kansas City, happening right now. They pushed it back because of the ice storm in Kansas City. Otherwise, we'll be covering and talking about it. But we do get to talk about the game that just ended, the classic, the barn burner, the slobber knocker. If I was going to JR it, my God, that boss, I swear to God, he's broken in half. Packers, Cowboys, woo boy.
Mago.
Man, what do you want to like? What can you say?
Well,
And this is why, like, I went into this game saying I wanted the Cowboys. I didn't think they could score with the Falcons. I left that game like I don't want either one of them damn teams.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, thank them first for giving us the best game. Like, this Kansas City game is looking like it's good now. It's a little trash, but it's good. But this was like a classic game. This was Des caught it levels of classic games. So it was good, man. It's back and forth. As somebody, I was only invested in a Cowboys loss. Now, my season is over, so I was only invested in Cowboys joining us home. So that was it. But everybody balled out. Everybody balled out, except for Green Bay secondary. Everybody.
And that's what gives me hope for next weekend, because this Green Bay secondary, Dez is nice, and so is that young man throwing to him, Dak. That's not Matt and Julio.
Bro.
Dak is nice. Dak ain't Matt.
Listen, it's going to be like the Hawks were playing the Bucks. That's the type of score that we're going to get.
For what it's worth, the Hawks beat the Bucks today, 98-111.
Yes, I saw that.
But I want to tell you this, though. The line on this game, the over-under, opened at 59.5. If gambling were legal and you listen to this podcast, I would suggest you go find someone posting that line and put all the money you got on the over. You tell me these two teams aren't going to score 60 points?
Well, I would just say wait until, be prudent and wait until Thursday.
It's going to go up.
Yeah.
You got to grab it now. It's as low as it's going to be.
Oh, I hear you.
That number's going up.
Locked in. Bro, was the over under 59.5?
Yes.
But I think it's going to be like 35-30 or something like that.
That's it. That kills the over. That murders it. And that's what it's going to be.
I think that's low, fam.
59.5 is so low. Go bet the over right now, guys.
So I got a question for you. What do you think about your team secondary?
It's garbage. It's not garbage because we have a decent pass rush. So it makes it look better because Vic Beasley had a great season. And we can bring in Freeney off the bench when we have to. We get good pressure up the middle, too. So our secondary tends to look better than it is. But what they do very well is the last 7 games, I believe they've had 13 takeaways. The first 10, we had 11 takeaways. So what they've done is they've found out ways to put themselves in position. We're in a lot of mixed coverages. So even if and that's what helps us a lot is the batted ball. I think you saw that on Saturday, too. Right. The batted ball usually breaks well for us because we've got so many guys swarming. And our safeties love to hit, but if they can come with their eyes open a little bit, and I'm not saying they need to, really affect these Green-making receivers by touching them up. I'm just saying it's worked in the past. Got you.
So you think they run the mixed coverage to kind of...
You're not going to slow down Aaron Rodgers. Like, you're not going to screw up Aaron Rodgers.
Mm.
That can't be the goal. The goal's got to be, I'm not one who's going to say blitz Aaron Rodgers because...
Nope.
That just feel like it's like the stat they showed against Matt Ryan. Like every time you blitz Matt Ryan, he tends to hurt you.
here's the thing. If you blitz in Aaron, you need to get to him. Like, don't.
You got to get there.
The funk. Don't be. What do they call it? Is it like stunts when
no.
kind of like that? Usually, I got like advanced, what is it? Intermediate when it comes to all of the
right.
football. That's those stunts where it's like you show the person and you delay it. And no, you delay. So, and the scariest thing I would say for the Falcons is that he's seen tougher defenses and eventually got to them. Like that's why all of those drops in the Giants game, we knew it was going to come back to haunt them. Because Eli was playoff Eli that whole first half, and dudes want to drop passes. 21 zip or even 14 zip is different than 6 zip. You would force him to do more, and these dudes wore him out, and all it took was a Hail Rodgers for him to activate.
And that's what we want to do is just get in his way a little bit on defense. Because while as good as Rodgers is, our weapons are better.
On offense?
On offense.
Yeah, but y'all score quick, and that's not good.
I'll see you in the shootout.
I hear you. That's what you got to do. You gotta do the shootout and
you're a better shot, but we got bigger guns.
Listen,
that's my theory.
If I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan right now, if the score is like 45-44 and we lost, yo, you toast to your team.
That's all you gotta do.
Against the God. You went against the God of touchdowns, and you went for a shootout, and that's what you worked.
Just keep swinging, baby. All you gotta do is keep swinging. Everybody just keep swinging. Maybe he falls, maybe we follow. We're going out on our feet.
Yeah, and you got one more game in the dome. Send it off with a shootout. Burn it down.
I feel like you're about to. Hey, man, thanks for coming on. Before we get out of here, people may not know, man, you're a big wrestling head like me, man.
Yes, sir.
So just so you know, and I'm going to stumble a little bit on the podcast, I spent last night at NXT Nashville. If you didn't see the pictures, follow me on Instagram at dpalm66. Yo, small venues are the way to go. The main event was Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe versus Roddy Strong and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Wow.
When I tell you, so at one point the chant was, everybody said, Joe's going to kill you. Then this was Rude, Rude, Rude. And then you got a Roddy chant going and a Nakamura chant going. And the chants kind of died. And someone said, everybody. And that was the chant that rang in the match.
Yo, the small venues are always the best. And what's crazy, something that's insane, right? So when TakeOver came to Brooklyn, TakeOver was in the Barclays Center. And I guess Barclays probably holds... Maybe it holds 20, like 19. You know,
I think it's built for. I think the way they built it for SummerSlam was 25.
Right, they put more in.
Yeah.
But when you went in there, you thought you were at like, and it's no shots, but it felt like state championships, basketball. The two best teams in whatever city and state you come from were.
Right.
That day, like that was it's the fans that make those shows too, because you could tell like the NXT crowd was all straight hardcore wrestling fans, and the SummerSlam crowd was a little bit more casual.
Yeah.
Get those fans in there, yo. You could be in a dome, you could be in a bingo hall. It don't matter. It's gonna be lit, and I know it must have been crazy in there.
It was so nuts. Like it blew my mind. Because what happened was my boy was in town. Was gonna be flying. He's in town with his wife and like her family. They're doing like a girls' weekend. And he's like, "Will you please just drive up and so I have someone to talk to?" So all right, I'll come kick it. And I was on the way up there. I was like, "Yo, let me see if there's anything going on in Nashville." Yo, NXT show. And I'm thinking to myself, my boy didn't really watch wrestling, but we'll see if he's down. So I bought the tickets. Like, "Yo, you want to go?" He's like, "Fuck it, let's do it." My man, I think we converted into a new fan. He's like, at the end, he's like, "I don't know why I'm standing. All of a sudden, I was standing up." Nakamura's entrance, he was like, all of a sudden, I was standing up. It just felt like a big deal.
Yeah, word. How far is Nashville's like what, 2 hours from Atlanta?
Shit, 4.
4. Okay. Because I was wondering, because I was like, yo, it's see, and that's another thing. That's like one of those trips where it's close enough that you could do it, chill for a day, and come right back down. Especially with y'all. What y'all got, like, what, 70, 75 miles per hour?
Oh, man. It was, up there. And then the drive up, dude, it was like 78. It was 78 degrees. I had Run the Jewels going. I had the windows down. I had Run the Jewels 3 playing. I was cruising, man. It was perfect road trip weather. And I want to thank you for coming on. Before I do your outro, I got to remind the listeners of one quick thing. The Cowboys have not been to an NFC title game since 1995.
Biggie and Pac were still alive.
Only Detroit and Washington have longer streaks.
Martin was probably one of the top sitcoms on TV.
This is the Falcons' second trip since 2012.
Yo, man, listen, I have been known, and I want to say this because you're an a real ATL sports fan.
Please believe it.
Yeah. The only reason, and some people might know me for ATL sports slander, the only reason I ever got into that was because of one of my Twitter friends who is an ATL fan who would come and troll me about New York sports. But I have to say, yo, y'all are representing. Like this year with the Falcons, y'all are representing. And I know, as a Knicks fan, I know how it feels that your team is going to your team. Just ride it out. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, man. I'm not like, yo, it's all house money now.
They may Falcon, but fuck it. This is what we do. I know without a shadow of a doubt in the fibers of my soul that at some point, it hasn't be today, it doesn't have to be tomorrow. Some point in the season, the Knicks will nick. But I'm still here.
You got to be here for it, man. Every year I know Georgia's going to do something bad to me, but every year I'm here I'm going to enjoy it to the ride. Hey, I got to ask before I do your outro. Sorry, hold you one more second.
Oh, come on.
Way too early Royal Rumble predictions. Who do you got? Do you see any big returns? I'm just give you mine real quick before we get out of here. I pray Finn comes back.
Yes, sir.
If he's back, I think he wins.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could see a certain Olympic hero making his return. I always say that shit. Every year I get myself hyped up for Angle, and every year it doesn't show up. So whatever. If it happens, it happens. It doesn't. I'd like to see it, though. And my dark horse pick to win this Rumble, it's got to be Bray Wyatt. I think you could either give Bray Wyatt, because what's happened is apparently in WWE front office, everyone saw the reception to Omega Okada, which we have talked about in the show before, and everyone's like, oh, we need to do something like that, So I think either you're going to go the build Bray route and give us a good heel finish to Mania, or you say, like, give it to Sammy and then have him challenge AJ and have them put on a 2. Or give it to Shinsuke and give him and AJ for Mania.
Yo, those horses are like Tyrese and Seal's complexion combined. Those are like super dark horses.
Super dark horses. It'll never happen. But I'll tell you what I'm cheering for. I do think we're going to get Brock Goldberg, so I think they're going to eliminate each other. I don't think Vince wants to put the belt on Taker.
I wouldn't. No, come on.
He can't.
He don't need it. He don't need it anymore.
He's Taker.
Yeah, he don't need it anymore. I think I do think Angle may show up. I hope he does, because he needs to go be with American Alpha and make that happen already. Like, stop fronting. Let's get this like Team America rocking, like the U.S. Avengers and shit. Let's get that rocking. Samoa Joe, I think, is gonna be in it.
Oh, the Joe debut. If we get Joe Cena at Mania,
man, I think because it's time. I think it's time for him because he's already run his course.
Oh, I think we're gonna see him and Ty get called up.
Oh, perfect 10.
That's my pick for call-ups.
So, woo.
There's always Rumble call-ups, by the way. There always are.
I'm like, damn. Should you bring Ty up now?
He didn't work the house show in Nashville.
Okay, so you could bring him up. And then he could do dual duty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a matter of who comes in there. My pick originally to win the Rumble was Jericho, because it was something that he's never won a Royal Rumble.
I see what you're saying.
He won the U.S. title. I'm like, will they take the belt off of Owens and then run the Owens Jericho program to Mania with the U.S. title, which would be dope. But I'll still hold on, because they treat the U.S. title like a prop anyway. Like it's like a.
Well, they made it matter this week because, like you said, it was the one that he never won.
Right. So now it has some clout. But I'll have Jericho. Jericho's one. I could see somehow Cena getting in there. It's not gonna happen, but I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm nervous about Cena and AJ. I really want Cena to lose. I don't want to take a belt off AJ. I know they might, because they're going into Mania time, and the belt on Cena could be good for Mania, and I get that. And but the thing is, you could put someone over at Mania by having, if you want to ping pong the belt off of Cena just so AJ can take it off him at Mania, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't think that 16 is going to happen at a Royal Rumble. I think it's going to happen.
That's a really good point.
Like they're saving that for a Mania moment. It's going to have to be, he's going to come out of nowhere and do something crazy. But my dark horse for the Rumble is Big Banter.
Ooh, who I'm loving more each week.
Right, yeah, he's
great.
He's awesome. So that's like my one dark horse. But I think it's gonna be a good event. And also, before I go, shout out to the Big Show. Did you see that picture
I did see that picture. I was about to say something like, yo, good work, Show. I'm here for him and Shaq, though. I'm here for that match.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking of a lot of fun, if you're a wrestling fan, you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you check out the UK Classic, UK tournament right now on WWE Network. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't seen any spoilers. If you spoil me on Twitter, I will fight you. But I'm excited to watch those guys do work. There's a couple guys I'm familiar with. Mostly I'm not, because I'm not as plugged into the UK scene. So I'm excited to learn some new names and watch some good wrestling. Thank you today, Jeff. Jeff, tell the people where to find you, man.
Well, as Deepalm stated before in the opening, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JeffJSays. ADHDShow.com is the home for the ADHD Show podcast, and we're on YouTube as well, where I have all of my video from covering red carpets, doing different types of interviews, things like that, so you can get us there. And always you can check out Bleacher Report, help us with some clicks or something, man. You always check that out. And that's about it.
Awesome, man. Thanks again for coming on. This is not the last time we're going to have you, especially with the wrestling talk coming up as we enter WrestleMania season. It was really great hearing you today. If you enjoyed hearing us today and you wish you could hear us even better, make sure you visit our sponsor at Tweaked Audio, tweakedaudio.com. 33% off any headphones and earbuds. Comes with a free lifetime warranty. Use the code REVIEWS at checkout. I am Deepalm. Follow me on Twitter at Deepalm66. You can follow the show, Unanimous Decision, on Twitter at UDPod. You can follow our network at the MTR Network. Make sure when you're going to any MTR show, subscribe in the iTunes Store, subscribe in Stitcher, leave your 5-star reviews. Helps the show get your words hold on the air. If you want to give us more feedback, we always accept it. udpodcast at gmail.com. Thanks again to our guest, Jeff. We'll be back later this week with some interviews and, of course, championship game fallout when the Falcons might very well finally falcon. That was your show. This is your outro. See you next week.